Kenyan workforce is getting ready for the transition that is happening in the world. And so he said, okay, let there be this program called Jitume, and let it be called Jitume, because Jitume means, what does it mean? Jitume inamaanisha? Yes? You must? Go for it, si ndio? Jitume. Si ndio unajua ukikaa hapo umezuba unaambiwa kwa wewe nani jitume, si ndio? So this program is we nani? Simseme sana, at least nisikie motivated. We nani? Jitume. We nani? Sawa. So the program is about Jitume. Because you can sit there and complain, oh, hakuna kazi, I don't know anyone in government, and so I can't do anything. But wewe ukijituma, na government ikijituma, tutaenda mahali, si ndio? Sawa. So this program was started in 2022 in December, and the vision was big. The vision was we need 1 million Kenyans, 1 million Kenyans earning and working in the digital economy. And this is by 2027, 1 million. And to make sure this happens, we look at what are the problems that our Kenyans are facing. Watu hawana computer, si ndio? Wengine wako na mobile phone, hawana bundles. So how do you work online when you don't have a computer, you don't have bundles, you don't have good internet? So unaona hizo ndio shida. So this program was about solving those challenges to create the opportunity so that we can latch into the digital economy. Now, why then do we need to do this? I'll tell you about some global trends in the field of work. One of them is hybrid work models. Sasa, when COVID happened, sisi wote tulienda home. Tukaambiwa tuko na do not work from the office, watu waende ushago, kulikuwa na lockdown, but see, people have to eat and live and work. So what happened is that the world transitioned into hybrid work models, which means sometimes you work in the office, sometimes you work at home, but you're working in many careers. Actually, over 50% now are allowing for hybrid working models. Now, the second one is diversity, equity, and inclusion. What does that mean? Some careers, some jobs, zenye sana sana zilikuwa male or others which were women, have now become for all. For example, forklift. Si kitambo only men were doing forklift kwa construction, kwa mjengo. You couldn't see many women. But now you see many women are using the forklift because it is easier to navigate. Umekuwa na hydraulics, si lazima utumie muscle, and the ladies are working. A good case is, another one is hospitality. Traditionally, as we know, wamama ndio wanapikanga, si ndio? But now we have very many men in hotel and catering, si ndio? So those are integration of works. There are no traditional male and female jobs. They are all now becoming open-ended, which means jitume. Kama we ni boy child unapenda kupika, fungua restaurant. Kama we ni girl child unataka kujenga nyumba, construction, ingia, si ndio? It has become easy. And then the cross-cutting thing is that digital is across every field. Kitambo kulikuwa na hiyo envelope ya brown ya kuapply, si ndio? Unaandika in fact people are writing application letters na mkono, unapeleka kwa HR hayuko, anakuambia nipe pesa, hapo ndio watu wakasema kama hujui mtu you can't get a job. But now it is all online. Wanatuma kwa online, wanakuambia apply, submit, you even meet the people, sometimes others are doing interviews online. So if you don't know online, wewe uko tu nje, si hiyo umejichuja. So that is and it's a global phenomenon. The other thing is that it is becoming borderless. Because of this hybrid work and remote work, it is becoming borderless. Unaweza pata job London. In fact, I know my friends, some of them are working in Europe. Na wanafanya tu kazi kwa nyumba. In fact, I think last week watu walikuwa there was a trend, someone was saying, watu wanajifungia tu kwa nyumba, hakuna mahali wanaendanga, lakini wako tu wanachomoka tu, wako tu sawa. Si mtu waambie mnafanya, because guys are not understanding why mtu aendangi job ako tu amekaa kwa nyumba, but this person is paying rent, ajaifunguzwa na landlord. Hey guys, mtu chanue. So hiyo kichanuo ni jitume, because ukiwa na laptop na internet wewe uko job kwa nyumba. You're not going anywhere to work. You're working from home. You're earning, and you're able to. And you can work for anybody. You can work for a company in US, another one in India, another one in Nigeria. Anywhere you can get a job, which is good for this country, because now we are not saying you can go to Industrialia in Nairobi. Rural to urban migration. Tunatoka tunaenda Nairobi, tunakaa kwa anko, anakuangalia na sura mbaya kwa sababu hujapata kazi for 3 months. Those things start to die. Sindio? Then the other thing that is happening is the gig and freelance economy. Kitambo ilikuwa permanent and pensionable. Siku hizi hakuna hiyo story, inaenda tu ikidai. At some point it will not actually be there. So we have to start looking at flexible, freelance, job-based jobs. So unafanya tu hii gig na unamalipwa, unaenda kwa hiyo ingine unalipwa hivyo hivyo. That is a global phenomenon. And then also the rework, because of this way of working remotely, we all must understand security, digital security, cyber security, and cyber hygiene. How do you protect yourself? How do you protect your data? How do you protect your laptop? How do you protect your login passwords and everything to ensure that you're not exposing, because imagine job yako iko online alafu umekuwa hacked. Unasikianga influencers wanasema I lost my account, I had 1 million subscribers, now I am starting 0. That is cyber security. Everybody must understand what cyber security means for them so that you can work seamlessly in this era. And then kuna hii automation. Now automation ni hiyo kampuni ya construction where you see kitambo ilikuwa unaweka tu brick moja moja, now kuna hata 3D houses. Inakuja tu inamwaga inajenga nyumba in 2 days. So the question is, are you understanding how construction is changing? Or are you appreciating how your sector is being disrupted by world of work? Kitambo, there's a very popular office that was called secretariat or clerk. Ile tu ya typewriter. Siku hizi nenda naonanga typewriter anywhere. See, that ended. It became computer. So the person who is working as a secretary requires completely different skills from the secretary of the year 2000. And it will still change, because anything repetitive, anything that is done the same times, many times, it is being automated, and we will not have that career. So you have to think, mimi kazi yangu ni gani? Hii technology inakujaje? And how do I change before I am becoming irrelevant in the job market? Okay? Now, according to the International Labour Organization, the Africa continent is increasing. There's a revolution in the Africa continent, and we estimate that 230 million jobs will be created by 2030. 230 million. Sasa target yetu tu ni 1 million. Si tuongeze target. Si ndio? Out of that 52 countries, tumeanza tu na 1, which means the potential is big. And are you a part of this 230 million? Of course, there are those jobs that will die because of the new world of work. And then, all of us here, si tulienda shule? Si tuko na ka certificate, ama ka diploma, ama ka university degree? Again, according to the World Economic Council, 50% of us need to reskill. When was the last time you went to school or opened a book? 50% of us need to reskill, which means you need to learn a new skill in your sector to remain relevant. So again, when you go home, ebu jiulize kamkutano, kajite kamkutano kadogo, ujiulize sasa mimi, hey, what must I do to remain relevant in this economy? Even if you don't have a job, being reskilled gives you a competitive edge. It will help you get a job faster than not thinking about reskilling in this era. Now, for example, when you look at the retail sector, si kitambo tulikuwa tu na maduka, unaamka unaenda soko, unanunua. Now, all these are new e-commerce platforms, which means now people are not buying things the same way they used to buy. What is declining? Physical shopping, inapungua. Wholesale retail models. Kama wewe ni wholesaler, jiangalie kidogo, because people are now buying directly because of a platform. So you must think, what is that happening? Finance. Kitambo there was a big queue in the bank. Unaona banking hall imejaa, tellers ziko 15, na zote ziko na watu, si ndio? Nowadays, si tuko kwa mobile, si ndio? And then ukienda teller unapatanga 3-4. because things have changed. Hata siku hizi wametuwekea viti. Kitambo tulikuwa tunasimama hata mtu karibu afaint. Unaona? So now you have to think, how as a banker, what does that mean for me? I need to move from a teller to a mobile banking consultant, analyst. Distribution outlets are becoming big. Analysis and back-end support. Those are the jobs that are becoming mainstream. When you go to media and entertainment, again, kitambo sisi wote tulikuwa KBC saa moja. Nowadays, how many people watch KBC saa moja? Even KBC has changed themselves. They could have KBC digital, sindio? And now, ukiamka, what do you check? Twitter? How many, munapatanga news wapi? Social, WhatsApp, sindio? Those are the new platforms that are becoming ready for media. And what does that mean? Traditional channels are declining. For example, newspapers. Squeezy, newspapers are still there, but they are not as many as they used to be because we are all nation digital and WhatsApp and social platforms. What is creating new opportunities? Content creators, animation, gaming, system developers, security, etc. And now, in manufacturing, kitambo, kulikuwa na production line 5,000 people. Nowadays, it's all robots. Unapata tu operator wawili watatu wamekaa very, very sparse. What does that mean? Manual, repetitive jobs are dying. System controller, hizi vitu mpya. Maintenance officers, robotics operators, those are the jobs of the future. So you have to think about, mi nilisomea nini and how is my sector being disrupted. Agriculture. See, in Kenya, the jembe is the king. Unaona huyo jamaa amechoka, ametoa sweta, amekauka, climate mvua imekataa kunyesha. Life is hard. But now we are moving to smart agriculture, which means wanatoa ameshika tu ka remote. Anafanya hivi, anaenda anatafuta kwenye kuna weed, anamwagilia dawa. You use less dawa, your crops grow more, and you are happy. You know, unaona vile anakaa kama mtu ako sawa. So that means there are some traditional inefficiencies that are dying and new farming models that are becoming new opportunities. And that is why Jitume. Because they need to look for 1 million out of 230 million jobs and create and earn this money. By 2027, 680 billion money circulating in digital platform. How much of this are you going to put in the pocket? Higher. So the first lab was launched by His Excellency the President in December 2022, and the vision, this vision aligns with our digital superhighway plan. See, my colleague has talked about digital superhighway, 100,000 kilometers of fiber. Now, how do you use that kilometers of fiber? It's through jobs, it's through business. That is how you start getting the value out of what the government is putting up in place. And to do that, there are some components. One, tumesema, 50% of us must go to class. So you need to class, then work. Then there's a platform. So ukitoka hapa, tafuta tu jitume.go.ke. Utapata tu platform, utaanza kusoma, hakuna school fees, you get a new cert, and you grow. And then lastly, this project ideally is to establish one hub in every county to make sure you can access. Usiseme sina laptop, sina internet, go to the Jitume hub and benefit. Today we have launched 2 Jitume hubs, one in Moiben and one in Arvist. So those ones provide you access to the opportunities. And lastly, all these partners are working to help us get the jobs and many more. So it is upon us to fanya nini? Tufanyaje? Asanteni.
Thank you, Josephine. In the event that you would like to visit the washrooms, I'm advised that you go out, turn right, then take immediate right. You will find the washrooms there. To the next presenters. Ukiona nimesimama ni kama naongea na simu ama naenda washroom. Sio washroom nitakuwa naenda. Ni time utakuwa umepita nayo sana. So let's try and so allow me to welcome Amos from Office of the Data Protection to take us to the next presentation on data protection and cyber security. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you very much, Bwana Washington. I'm going to be the most obedient presenter in terms of time. So basically, my name is Amos Kosgei. I'm the head of ICT at the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, and I'm here to represent the Data Commissioner, Madam Immaculate Kasait, who would love to be with us today in this forum, but due to other official engagements, she was not able to attend. So appreciating what the presenters who have come before me have said, as we continue to digitize the operations, as we continue to interact with the platform, there is quite a number of massive data that we generate. For instance, if I ask you a question, while we were finding our way to this place, there's a possibility that 10% of us who are not aware of the county hall is. So what did you do? You remove your device out of your pocket, went to the Google map, navigate your way to the county hall. At some point, you went outside there to shop. At the point you're exiting the teller, we transact using the mobile money platform. Have we ever stopped at some point and asked ourselves, after you transact, what happened next with your data? That is your name, your mobile number, and many other information. So my presentation basically is focusing on, as we unlock the opportunities that comes with the digital platforms, what are some of the things that we need to be aware of? Yes, the opportunities are there, but there are also the impending risks. So I'm asked to make a presentation on data protection and cyber security as an imperative necessity in the era of the digital opportunities. So in our daily lives, there is quite a number of interactions with digital platform and social media. Some of them are content creators. As we do the interaction, we generate massive data. Some of them we share with our cycles and with our networks. While we are undertaking the following, access to government services. There's a lot of data that we use to get access to government services. While we are accessing the financial information, you do an online shopping like I had said. For purpose of entrepreneurship, we interact quite a lot with X, WhatsApp, for purpose of collaboration, building our circles. There are quite a number of information that we share, but at some point, do we stop and ask ourselves, where is this information going to? As we interact with the online jobs, as we navigate our ways. Therefore, there is something that we need to be aware of called data, which is a very critical resource in terms of decision making. It is a very critical resource in that it's able to guide in terms of decision making. It can be monetized to generate a lot of income. But what are you aware of? And based on the statistics by the World Economic Forum, they say the digital economy in the year 2023 was able to grow 4 times compared to other economies. Then what does it mean? It means there are a lot of opportunities that come alongside the innovation that we speak about. But as we also speak of opportunities, there are the risks. Let's have a look at that photo. I'm trying to use a concept of we are trying to mine oil from under the sea. Those are the machines that are used to mine the oils. And towards the end, you see something is moving up. That is the oil that has been refined for use. So basically what I'm trying to communicate, this sea is a sea of information. Out of it is data. And some of the big tech companies, for instance, Google, we use the Google for navigation. How much of the information do we generate? Sometimes you use Wasili, because Wasili is commonly used here than Uber. You request for a ride. It's able also to tell you, you share your live locations with your friend, with your cycles. At the end of the day, where does that information get to? Some of the questions we need to ask ourselves. So as we continue to increasingly use this platform, we are exposed to various cybersecurity risks and data protection risks. So what? The common cyber attacks that we get is what we call phishing attacks. And in a common scenario, unapata mtu amekutumia message amekuambia, Safaricom inapeana nini? Zawadi, kuna kaofa fulani, finyilia. Unafinyilia, suddenly in the next few minutes, you hear someone say, account nimefanya nini? Account nimeenda. Something else, you are trying to get an access to the critical services. And you might find that some of the criminals in the space you operate in, through some activities, amounts to what we call denial of service attacks. You are trying to get access to your M-Pesa platform, but you are not able to. The ransomware, someone encrypts your information in your device and demand for some payment of money. Sometimes there is a personal data breach. Someone takes your photo, your financial account statements, your ID number, and publish it on the platform. What are you supposed to do should you find yourself in such a scenario? Then we are being told the cost of damages incurred by cyber crime activities is expected to rise to $10.5 trillion by 2025. So we need to be very keen in all the activities. So after getting to know all that, the beauty is as we digitize, the opportunities comes along with. But then we have institutional frameworks, we have policy frameworks, we have legal frameworks that are able to create a sound ICT ecosystem for us to be operating in a trusted ecosystem, because we are told trust is something that can be lost in less than a second. So there are some institutions, and I'm going to speak briefly about data protection in Kenya. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 recognizes right to privacy as a fundamental right. If today I come to you and ask you, hi, you'll respond, hi. What's your name? You'll tell me your name. The next thing I'll ask you, where do you come from? You'll tell me. The next thing I'll ask you, are you married? Will you tell me? How many will tell me? 2. If I come and ask you, could you please share with me your phone number? How many will share? He will. If I go further step and ask you what your M-Pesa balance, how many will share? I'll go further step and ask you, could you please share with me your M-Pesa PIN? How many will do? So that means at some point we need to stop and ask ourselves, why are we asking for some information? And for what purpose? And that's why the Constitution recognizes on the right to privacy as a fundamental right. And with this regard, it says the information relating to your family, you as a person, shall not be revealed unless it's authorized. And your right is very fundamental, which anyone shall not infringe, including your spouse. Therefore, the data protection becomes an imperative, which is a regulator as well as an enabler in terms of digital opportunities. As we continue to do that one, we have a body called the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, established under the Data Protection Act of 2019. It came into operations in the year 2020 when the first data commissioner was appointed. The act was enacted in 2019 to give operationalization to the Constitution of Kenya. And then an independent office was established. It's a regulator, it's a commission within the Ministry of ICT. The office has further gone a step to develop sets of regulation which guide your privacy, which protects your privacy, and those are the regulations. It has further gone a further step to develop what we call the guide and notes, or basically advisories in different sectors. For instance, a while back we used to subscribe to the mobile lending platforms. If you default for a week, you could find the mobile lending platform could call your contact list. Could be your employer, could be your father, could be your mother, informing them of you that you borrowed some loans and you're not able to honor. But when the office came to existence, it has brought some sanity. So what is the mandate of the office? The office is to regulate the processing of personal data. It also ensures that processing is done in accordance with the provision of the Act. And I'll not spend a lot of time. You'll find some time, go to our website and get to interact with the information. It protects the privacy of you as a person, and it also establishes a legal and institutional mechanism to protect you. In case your information is breached, you can lodge a complaint with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. An investigation will be undertaken, a penalty will be issued, and we've also developed a compensation mechanism for the victims of you as a person, should the office find that indeed there was a data breach. The function is to enforce and implement the Data Protection Act. We also register entities. No entity is allowed to process your information without being licensed by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. So you as a citizen, you have a right to ask the people you are interacting with, in terms of the people you are sharing information with, whether they are licensed and they are certified by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner to process the information. We also do oversight. We promote self-regulation amongst the entities by training them, issuing advisories. We also carry out inspections, or basically what we call audit, awareness creation. We undertake investigation, research, and also collaboration like we are doing today, both international, nationally, and regionally. And part of the collaboration that we are discussing is like the one today, we're having a conversation with the public, with the county government, with the parties in the national government, as well as the private sector. What then is personal data? There are some people who do not understand personal data. Like if I ask you about your name is a personal data. It identifies who you are, hence it becomes personal. Your phone number is personal data. Birth certificate details is your personal number. Your location. If someone calls you and asks you, where are you? You might choose to disclose or not because it's a personal data. Then there's what we call sensitive personal data, like the health information. And then the biometrics data, ethnicity. Someone should not tell you which ethnic group are you coming from and compel you to disclose. Then the marital status. There are quite a number of ways that we unknowingly disclose our information when we are making payments using the digital platforms. When there is a need to access services from both government, private, and other institutions. While we are accessing the buildings, we are asked to register, input your name, email address, your phone number, your ID, and everything else. In the Data Protection Act, there's what we call purpose limitation. You only share the information that is required for a given purpose. Then, while using the digital apps, like I've said, you are using the Uber and many other platforms. We are conducting online shopping and use of the social media platforms. Then what are the compliance obligations? What are the entities required to do? They are required to register as a controller processor. They are also required to implement the principles of the Data Protection Act. They are also required to implement what we call privacy by design and by default. That is in terms of the policies, the governance level, as well as the systems they implement. They also need to undertake what we call cross-border data transfer analysis. Before someone shares your information with other parties, they need to have proper safeguards, undertake what we call impact assessment, and then develop policies which at the end of the day protect the rights of the citizens of Kenya. Then they also ensure that there's some data sharing agreement. Should you enter a contract with a party, there should be an agreement which protects your privacy. And then in terms of processing contracts also, and then they should also manage data breaches. Should your information be breached, the entity, like for instance a bank, any platform, someone gets into your details, they should report to the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner within 72 hours. And you as a person, as a citizen, you can lodge a complaint. Then in terms of the rights, what is your right as a citizen? You have a right to be informed. If someone asks you for your information, you should be informed of where and the use of the information. You also have right to access your information when and you need. And nobody should stop you from that. You also have a right to object to any processing that does not comply with the Act. And then you also have a right for correction of false or misleading information. And then the aspect of deletion and erasure of your information. Then in terms of how then do we comply, there's what we call the 360 perspective of data protection, whereby it's a collective responsibility. The entities that the government, the private, you as a citizen, has a responsibility to ensure that your information is protected or basically safeguarded. And the information is likened to the vein. Let's use the case of the human body. In the human body, there is the flow of blood. That blood is data. So there's a huge interconnection between the sectors. For us to become an operational body in the digital space, there are some interconnection. And data runs through these veins of the interconnection, the interlinks. So we need to ensure that as we interact, we uncheck with the information, we exchange information, we comply with the provisions. Then finally, as an organization, I know some of us come from the organization, we need to say, as you comply as a person, the question we need to ask ourselves, the entities that you interact with, are they compliant? The suppliers you interact with, are they compliant? Are they registered with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner? In terms of agreements, are there binding legal agreements you sign with them? What is the compliance of these consultants? The PR firms, the media that we engage, are they compliant? And then in terms of the contracted ICT services, these are scenario. Then what is the benefits of being compliant to the Data Protection Commission, or basically the Act? It gives what we call legal and regulatory assurance. If you register, there is that assurance, and it lowers the burden of the risks that comes with, as well as the legal implication. And then it enhances trust. If today I come to you and I would want to interact with you, I only trust whereby there is an effort or basically demonstration of compliance. It also enhances the customer experience. Then, what's the compliance journey? How does it look like? You are an entity. First of all, you need to register with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, but you as an individual, you are not required to, but you are expected to. Then after being registered, your status is converted to being an entity to a registered controller or a processor. Then you acquire the new status and you are given basically a mandate to process the information, but then it doesn't stop there. You need to demonstrate compliance throughout the journey. The registration process takes 20 minutes. It's through a self-service portal. And then you'll get an acknowledgement as an entity to process the information. Then what then is the call to action for all of us who are here in terms of cybersecurity and data protection? It's a shared responsibility that requires collaboration. What is required of organization? They need to adopt what we call data protection and cybersecurity by default. That is embedding safeguards in our governance, in our policies, and the projects that we undertake. You also need to register with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner as either a data processor or controller. And then they are supposed to report any suspicious cyber or data breach to regulatory bodies like the Ministry of ICT, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, the NC4, the Communications Authority, or ICTA. and then undertake employees training and awareness, which is a continuous effort. Like this month is the month of cyber security globally. And then we need to comply with the existing laws, regulations, and policies. And then for the general public, what is expected of you? You need to stay informed. Should someone send a link to you, what should you do? Do you just go ahead and click because of the motivation of getting money or motivation of getting a job? We need to be aware of the emerging cyber and privacy threats, and then we are supposed to report any suspicious activity to the authorities. Then you protect your devices and data against unauthorized access. And that marks the end of my presentation, and I thank you all.
Asante sana, Amos. As Professor Chepken is preparing to come to the stage, I would request the presenters to also share the different online platform handles so that members of the public from Eldoret can actually start following the different online platforms within the ministry. So we request you to at least follow our handles for the ministry, for Konza Technopolis, for ICT Authority, for Office of the Data Protection, so that at least you get to know what is going on within those particular spaces. Karibu, Prof. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know you have had quite a morning and afternoon, so I will not take much of your time. I'll try and stick to the minutes given to me. Let me start by asking, how many of us know about Open University of Kenya? Kindly, please, are we together? Open University of Kenya, if you have heard about it. Who has not heard about it? Oh, we have people who have not heard about it. So my name is Professor Christopher Chepken from the Open University of Kenya, acting Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Planning and Infrastructure. I'm here on behalf of my VC, Professor Elijah Omwenga, who was not able to come to Eldoret because of other commitments in the office. I'll be talking to you briefly about Open University of Kenya, and as I've said, I don't want to take much of your time. Kindly give me 10 minutes. Now, Open University of Kenya is a public university, like any other public university we have in the country. So for those of us who come from Eldoret, University of Eldoret, Moi University, and Open University of Kenya are in the same league, except that Open University of Kenya is a specialized university which is purely virtual. It's online. This is the reason why we are working together side by side with ICT Authority, Konza Technopolis, and other partners who are in the technology space. This university was chartered by His Excellency the President on 3rd August 2023. It's situated at Konza Technopolis. So are some of the pictorials which we have. We are an innovative university for inclusive prosperity. Kindly mark those words, innovation and inclusivity. We are not leaving anyone behind. I can tell you from statistics, ever since we started university in this country, only 6 or less than 6% of all Kenyans have been going to university. 94% have not been going to university because of capacity, because of any other thing that you can think of. Now we have a university that includes or takes everyone into the university space. Therefore, our principles are based on inclusivity. So we want everyone. And we mean everyone. We will explain, we have a 10 there, we'll explain why we mean everyone. Access, we want wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you have access to higher education. We are flexible. We run on a virtual platform, well crafted virtual platform to allow you to learn at your own pace, self-paced learning, where our cost is a third of all the other universities in this country. We are one of the universities which has the highest standard of quality education, because this university was formed from the basis of being purely virtual, and therefore all the necessary quality procedures were put in place. Our stakeholders, as I've said, is of course the government of Kenya, the Ministry of Education, ICT Authority, and Concert Technopolis, and of course the ministry, the mother ministry of ICT and, or rather IC and digital economy. As I've said, it's a specialized university. Let me not repeat that, but we have more details at our tent there. It's a purely virtual university, government university. Our objective is basically to offer education through the digital platform, and we can explain all that outside our tent there. But basically, what we mean by that is that we have a fully fledged learning management system, virtual learning management system, with integrated, or rather integrated to our ERP system, which gives you a seamless connectivity to your virtual classes. We allow you to register from where you are, apply from where you are, register from where you are, enroll into a program of your choice, pay your fees, attend classes at your own pace, because if we have a synchronous class in the morning, we will have an asynchronous class in the evening, because all our lectures are recorded and they are inbuilt into the learning management system. This university was set up with flagship projects or other programs which were identified as of strategic importance to this country. One of them is data science, and the other one is Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics. It is important to note that all the other presentations are application areas of what these programs are offering in the university. And you can be able to get this wherever you are, whenever you want. These are areas of interest to the rest of the world. If you thought about the 200 million jobs that will be created by 2030 on the cyberspace, then these are the skills that we provide as Open University. Other programs include economics and statistics, business and entrepreneurships, postgraduate diploma in leadership and accountability. I think I want to take special cognizance of the leadership and accountability course, because this is a very interesting course for us. We have the first cohort, it's a postgraduate diploma program, it is 1 year. We have the first cohort graduating this year. And we are proud to announce that we are going to be graduating 2 vice chancellors of 2 universities in this country and several CEOs from this program. So if you thought you finished school, then those vice chancellors are professors, those CEOs have doctorates, but they took this course. Please, it is not late, it's not early to start. Bachelor of Education Technology is another one, and Learning Design and Technology. We have, so that is a summary of the flagship programs, but we have new programs coming up. The new programs coming up will be launched in January 2025, and we have postgraduate diploma in education, master's technology, design and technology, leadership and policy, data science, artificial intelligence, services management, cybersecurity, business administration. We have PhD programs coming up. We also have bachelor's degree programs coming up within the same area of this postgraduate diploma and masters. And we'll be launching them come January this year. Applications will open in December. We also have the capacity to create any course which we want. I tell you why. our faculty are drawn from all universities in Kenya. So we can get any specialty that we would like to have today. And we can draw our faculty all over the world. And therefore, we can create any course that we want and mount it within the shortest time possible, because we don't have to hire an expert. Hiring somebody in Kenyan government public sector will take a minimum of 90 days. We take a minimum of 10 days because the guy is hired in Moi University. We just have to ask them to do what we call an application to work in another public institution. Within a week, we have them and we have our programs. So whatever you think can be taught in higher education, we have our specialists, purely online. We have partners. We have, since last year, we have developed partnerships with various institutions. We have had support from the World Bank, the Ministry of Education, ICT Authority, Concert Technopolis, NYS, Commonwealth of Learning, USAID. We have a big program coming up with USAID that will be targeting youths in 5 counties, and we will give more details should we have an opportunity to do that. We have many other partners. I don't have time to explain what we are doing with them, but we are on the run. Equity Foundation, for example. We have the Ministry of Industrialization with a project funded by the World Bank. We are in talks with UNISA, for example. Catholic University of Milan are with us. So what we are saying is we are international. We have opportunities lined up for Open University of Kenya. What do we have as a university? Let me put it this way. Let me put it in one sentence. We are a fully fledged public university. The way other public universities are managed, our Open University of Kenya is managed the way other public universities are managed. We have a chancellor who is Dr. James Mwangi of Equity Bank. We have the council, which is chaired by Professor Maritim. We have the vice chancellor, the deputy vice chancellors, the Senate University Management Board. Everything is set. We are running. We have students in class. We have those numbers in class. We have admitted over 4,000 students. And because our learning is flexible, we don't ask you when you'll report. We also don't ask you when you want to finish. We just check whether you have done what we want you to do. And we have mechanisms of doing that. If you want, I will be at the tent for further details. You can start tomorrow, finish in 20 years. You can start tomorrow, finish after 4 years. You have the flexibility. And we are real about this. So those are the numbers as per the programs. And they're increasing every day. We have been in this Eldoret for the last 4 days, and we've got numbers. Please don't be left behind. We have had experience for the last 1 year, and we are making improvements in areas that we thought we were doing better. Sometimes we are told you need to do this and that. We are listening, we are responding. One key thing that we have learned is that there are things that not many people know. Like, for example, work-life integrations and skills advancement. Somebody said 50% of us need to go back to school somehow, not necessarily formal schooling. We have also learned all those things. We are also, through the partners that I showed you there, we are at that stage where we are innovating every single day. We have had partners to train us on how to use modern technologies. Artificial intelligence is one of those things we have capitalized. For example, we are able to develop curriculum within the shortest time possible by integrating tools to our virtual learning management systems. We are looking at making our learning management system responsive 24/7 without necessarily having human beings behind. And we will be teaching everybody in the world when we get there, and we are getting there very soon. And so there are a couple of things we have also decided to do, short courses. We have a couple of them. We have a number of them again on at our tent. We can describe some of the courses, but we have courses on soft skills and entrepreneurship, foundation, courseware development, current life skills, emotional intelligence, ethics of digital engagement related to the Office of the Data Protection, mental health awareness, and many other several free courses and paid up courses. Just visit our website, get some of those courses and take them. So some of the courses are free. I just want to mention that. Some of them you have to pay for them and get a certificate at the end of the course. Again, start when you want, finish when you want. Drop when you want. We don't use the word drop at the Open University of Kenya because there is no dropping. We will not know that you have dropped because we will be thinking you are doing it in a flexible manner. Even if it's 30 years, we don't really care. So we have shared these slides, and we are in all areas. As I've said, our expertise come from all over the world. What are we looking at? I can summarize this sentence. We are looking at technology like I'm looking at you. Every morning, that is our business. Personally, my vice chancellor is a professor of computer science. And personally, I'm a professor of computer science. That is our business. We want to make sure that as we engage other experts to develop courses for us in other areas, we are dealing with technology and ensuring that we are up to date as far as what technology is going to offer. We have had students, some of you watched the videos, and as I said, we have learned, we have listened, and we are making improvements. We have had good feedback, and we are continuously improving. So those are some of the pictorials for the Open University of Kenya. And there we go. I try to be as obedient as possible as far as time is concerned, but at the same time, giving what I needed to do. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Prof. You've really demonstrated that you're a real professor. I hope the students who will come after you will follow suit. So allow me to invite a representative from Samasos to take us through on the issues of business process outsourcing. I think at this point, we will now be engaging some of the partners that we are working with as Ministry of Information, Communication, and Digital Economy to be able now to drive the digital transformation agenda for this country. So I believe now you need to pay a lot of attention and see what you can pick and take home from here. Karibu, Madam.
Asante sana. Naona watu wameboeka, so tusimame kidogo. Dakika moja. Tumeonyeshwa hiyo coconut. Nataka kuona kutoka hapa. Josephine, you will allow me to use that because I was there. Sikuwa naona watu wanafanya coconut aje. So, let's do the coconut. Yes, tunasema coconut alafu tunaanza. Coconut, C. Kuna watu wameshaanza kufanya U hapa saa hizi. C. Alafu? The next one? Nina confuse there. Nini ingine tumesikia data entry? Nani amesikia data